Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Pay attention to your enemies, for they are the first to discover your mistakes. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. If life were predictable, it would cease to be life and be without flavor. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. If you set your goals ridiculously high and it's a failure, you will fail above everyone else's success. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot at it and hang on. Always remember that you are absolutely unique, just like everyone else. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched, they must be felt with the heart. Whoever is happy will make others happy. 2. Do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. You will face many defeats in life, but never let yourself be defeated. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. If life were predictable, it would cease to be life and be without flavor. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. Life is never fair, and perhaps it's a good thing for most of us that it is not. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Live in the sunshine, swim the sea, drink the wild air. Don't practice until you get it right. Practice until you can't get it wrong. A tiger doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of sheep. Kindness is a language that the deaf can hear and the blind can see. If you always put limit on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus, and you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. Some people think that if their opponent plays a beautiful game, it's okay to lose. You have to be merciless. One day your life will flash before your eyes. Make sure it's worth watching. The greatest mistake you can ever make in life is to be continually fearing that you will make one. Be like the flower that gives fragrance to the hand that crushes it. Courage isn't having the strength to go on. It's going on when you don't have strength. What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? It's never too late to be what you might have been. Talent is luck. The important thing in life is courage. Not until we are lost do we begin to find ourselves. Today I do what others won't, so that tomorrow I can accomplish what others don't. The most important things are the hardest to say, because words diminish them. Turn your face to the sun and the shadows fall behind you. Challenges are what make life interesting, and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. You cannot swim for new horizons until you have courage to lose sight of the shore. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. If you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help someone else. Be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. The only way that we can live is if we grow. The only way we can grow is if we change. The only way we can change is if we learn. The only way we can learn is if we are exposed. And the only way we are exposed is if we throw ourselves into the open. One man with courage makes a majority. Know the rules well so you can break them effectively. Remember that happiness is a way of travel, not a destination. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift of God, which is why we call it the present. Remember one thing. If the lion is the king of the jungle, how can he be the king of the jungle if he's not the biggest? The elephant, it's probably one the biggest. He can't be too fast as because that's a cheetah. You can be the smartest. So he's not the biggest effect sort of smarts. So how does the lion become the king of the jungle? His mentality. That's the only difference of a lion and an elephant. One Elia walks up with these, the elephant he thinks lunch. Elephant thinks right. It's all mentality. Because want a male I was up he may be our number about pack of hyenas. What our team of my jungle because a mob mentality. Success is going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. Never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit. We are all the same in this notion that potential for greatness lives within each of us. People do not decide to become extraordinary. They decide to accomplish extraordinary things. A life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing. He who fears he will suffer already suffers because he fears. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. In seeking happiness for others, you will find it in yourself. Silence is the most powerful scream. The most powerful creative state to bring your desires into reality is by bringing the conscious and subconscious into unison, then keeping your heart and mind in perfect sync. Many people are trying to be invincible, and most of the time they fail. Invisible while few find their spotlight. But the remarkable person is one who can be both invincible and invisible at the same time. I lost all I had known and gained a life I was yet to know. Some people get what they want because they grab the power and swing it. And some people don't. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. You don't need luck, you are powerful, clever and fearless. To be even-minded is the greatest virtue. Just keep in mind, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say or think or do only what you do. The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. It does not matter what you bear, but how you bear it. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. To be calm is the highest achievement of self. He has the most who is content with the least. Self-control is strength, right thought is mastery. Calmness is power, man conquers the world by conquering himself. Be stoic, just do the right thing. Just keep going. The ultimate power in life is to be completely self-reliant, completely yourself. To be stoic is not to be emotionless but to remain unaffected by your emotions. Learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference, to bear trials with a calm mind. Robs misfortune of its strength and burden. The willing are led by fate, the reluctant dragged. Too many people believe that everything must be pleasurable in life. A rational person can find peace by cultivating indifference to things outside of their control. If you are easily provoked, you are easily controlled. Be an island of calm in the sea of craziness. Be a master of the mind, not mastered by the mind. Failure and deprivation are the best educators and purifiers. Between stimulus and response there is space. In that space is our power to choose our response. The mind that is anxious about future events is miserable. To make a goal of comfort or happiness has never appealed to me. A system of ethics built on this spaces would be sufficient only for a herd of cattle. If you make happiness your goal, you'll be disappointed. If you make presents your goal, you'll be satisfied. If it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining that one wants nothing to be different. Not forward, not backwards, not in all eternity. Not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it. That's what Stoicism is all about, learning to live a good life by developing peace of mind through confidence of one's ability to overcome adversity. The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. The wise man is neither raised up by prosperity nor cast down by adversity, for always he has striven to rely predominantly on himself and to derive all joy from himself. The great law of nature is that it never stops, there is no end. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. I love to go and see all the things I am happy without. The rob that smiles steals something from the thief. Stoicism is about the domestication of emotions, not their elimination. A stoic is someone who transforms fear into prudence, pain into transformation, mistakes into initiation, and desire into undertaking. Stoicism teaches how to keep a calm and rational mind no matter what happens to you, and it helps you understand and focus on what you can control and not worry about and accept what you can't control. Stoicism understood properly is a cure for a disease. The disease in question is the anxiety, grief, fear, and various other negative emotions that plague humans and prevent them from experiencing a joyful existence. Sometimes life hits you in the head with the brick. Don't lose faith. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. The true hero is one who conquers his own anger and hatred. The art of being wise is the art of knowing what to overlook. Wealth consists not in having great possessions but in having few wants. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not but rejoices for those which he has. What you're supposed to do when you don't like a thing is change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. Don't complain. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Many men will meet me who are drunkards, lustful, ungrateful, greedy, and excited by the frenzy of ambition. Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, is this the condition that I feared? It is not the man who has too little but the man who craves more that is poor. Life is a shipwreck, but we must not forget to sing in the lifeboats. What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. The things you own end up owning you. Is there such a thing as a cheerful pessimist? That's what I am. It is not daily increase but daily decrease. Hack away the unessential, the closer to the source, the less wastage there is. The reason why you have two ears and only one mouth is so we might listen more. and talk less. I begin to speak only when I'm certain. What I'll say isn't better left unsaid. If you are irritated by every rub, how will your mirror be polished? Nothing endures but change. Why should we pay so much attention to what the majority thinks? Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Order your soul, reduce your wants. Having the fewest wants, I am nearest to the gods. No human thing is of serious importance. Ensure you endure the obstacle is the way. Great times are great softeners. What we desire makes us vulnerable. Move toward resistance and pain. The limit is not the sky, the limit is the mind. Problems only exist in the human mind. Discomfort is the currency of success. Show people, don't tell people. Discomfort is a wise teacher. Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter. To complain is always non-acceptance of what is. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. What are the secrets of success? One word answer: rationale. Be present above all else. Don't aim to be perfect, aim to be. Anti-fragile peace must be found in the imperfect. Present, you'll be attacked for doing the right thing. Do it anyway. Think long-term, execute. Short-term experience, now you amplify everything you react to. While we wait for life, life passes. There is no genius without a touch of madness. Live your life like you're the hero in your movie. Keep your intention pure. Emotions will try to distract you, so keep going, that's the cure. Do what you will, even if you tear yourself apart. Most people will continue doing the same things. It can't ruin your life, only if it ruins your character, otherwise it cannot harm you inside or out. Every hour focus your mind attentively on the performance of the task in hand with dignity, human sympathy, benevolence and freedom, and leave aside all other thoughts. You will achieve this if you perform each action as if it were your last. There are two of the most immediately useful thoughts you will dip into. First, that things cannot touch the mind, they are external and inert. Anxieties can only come from your internal judgment. Second, that all these things you see will change almost as you look at them, and then will be no more. Constantly bring to mind all that you yourself have already seen. Changed the universe is change. Life is judgment. Make the mind tougher by exposing it to adversity. The truth is that our finest moments are most likely to occur when we are feeling deeply uncomfortable, unhappy or unfulfilled. For it is only in such moments, propelled by our discomfort, that we are likely to step out of its ruts and start searching for different ways or truer answers. Control your perceptions, direct your actions properly. Willingly accept what's outside your control. In life, it doesn't matter what happens to you or where you come from, it matters what you do with what happens and what you've been given. Never let people who choose the path of least resistance steer you away from your chosen path of most resistance. Short-term thinking is everywhere, noisy feuds over little prizes. The long-term thinker will be king. Win. Missing a train is only painful if you run after it, likewise not matching the idea of success others expect from you is only painful if that's what you are seeking. If you have your heart set on wearing crowns, why not make one out of roses? You look even more elegant in that. If you ever start taking things too seriously, just remember that we are talking monkeys on an organic spaceship flying through the universe. Don't let jerks live rent-free in your head. We are bacteria to the universe. We're basically monkeys on a small rock, orbiting a small backward star in a huge galaxy which is in an absolutely staggeringly gigantic universe, which itself may be part of a gigantic multiverse. Don't be the person that looks at the weather report the night before to decide what you are going to do the next day. Why did this happen to me? Why not? Events will never conform perfectly to your desires. Move forward. If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, he was ignorant of my other thoughts, else he would not have mentioned these alone. I have to die. If it is now, well then I die now. If later, then now I will make my lunch, since the hour for lunch has arrived. And dying I will tend to later. The average man is a conformist, accepting miseries and disaster with the Stoicism of a cow standing in the rain. What is to give light must endure burning. Life is full of hostility, some of it overt, some clever and underhand. Expect the river to be wild, surprising and challenging. To expect the opposite is to live in delusion. You are scared of dying, and tell me, is the kind of life you lead really any different than being dead? You need not look about for the reward of just deed. A just deed in itself offers a still greater return. A nation is born stoic and dies. Epicurean desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Your existence, my existence, is just infinitesimal. It's like a firefly blinking once in the night. The universe has been around for a long time, and the universe is a very, very large place. If you'll study even the smallest bit of science, for all practical purposes we are nothing. We're not really here that long, and we don't really matter that much. Nothing we do lasts. Eventually you will fade, your works will fade, your children will fade, your thoughts will fade, these planets will fade, the sun will fade, it will all be gone. Effortless stoicism will come when you have dismantled everything in your mind that produces reactions. Show me one person who cares how they act, someone for whom success is less important than the manner in which it is achieved. While out walking, who gives any thoughts to the act of walking itself? Who pays attention to the process of planning, not just the outcomes? This is an era of universal hyperbole. Every day delivers a new banality, disguised as an emergency. Distrust your first reactions. Begin with the assumption that you are overreacting. Conserve your emotional energies for your real concerns. You will eventually die, and the world will keep moving. Why do I keep repeating harmful behaviors, habits, when I know they are bad for me? Because they give you pleasure or help you avoid discomfort, and you are too weak to let go of a little pleasure or to bear a little discomfort. Unfollow the mind, follow the heart, mute the masses. Everyone faces up more bravely to a thing for which he has long prepared himself. Sufferings even being withstood if they have been trained for in advance. Those who are unprepared, on the other hand, are panic-stricken by the most insignificant happenings. What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgment about these things. You become what you give your attention to. If you yourself don't choose what thoughts and images you expose yourself to, someone else will. Remind yourself that the past and future are indifferent to you, and that the supreme good and eudaimonia can only exist within you right now, in the present moment. Whatever happens at all happens as it should. You will find this true if you watch narrowly. Run down the list of those who felt intense anger at something. The most famous, the most unfortunate, the most hated, the most whatever. Where is it all now? Smoke, dust, legend, or not even a legend. Think of all the examples and how trivial the things we want so passionately are. Everything that happens is either endurable or not. If it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. If it's unendurable, then stop complaining. Your destruction will mean its end as well. Just remember, you can endure anything your mind can make endurable by treating it as in your interest to do so. An hour of deeply contemplating your own moral failures will leave you feeling much more forgiving of the foibles of others. Many will choose the stability of slavery over the uncertainty of freedom. Conviction is much more powerful than positive thinking. Positive thinking is fragile and easily shattered by random tragedy. Random tragedy is an inevitable feature of life. Conviction guides you through misfortune. It does not wish it away. Purpose outdoes positivity. Much of what other people know isn't worth knowing. Always resignation and acceptance, always prudence and honor and duty. Uncertainty is an uncomfortable position, but certainty is an absurd one. The phrase that I use the most to myself in my head is one word: accept. True rewards, wealth, knowledge, love, fitness and equanimity come from ignoring others and improving ourselves. A man is no bigger than the smallest thing that provokes him. Some can delay gratification, others don't seek it at all. Be the latter. Show me someone for whom success is less important than the manner in which it is achieved. Of concern for the means rather than the ends of their actions, I want to see him. This is the person I have been looking for a long time, the true genius. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters, so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Learn to detach yourself from the chaos of the battlefield. The wise man needs nothing, and yet he can make good use of anything, whereas the fallen needs countless things that can make good use of none of them. Welcome if it comes, let go if it goes. Chase nothing, cling to nothing, remain unconcerned. Wisdom lies in cheerful acceptance of whatever life throws at you. Don't allow yourself to be heard any longer griping about public life, not even with your own ears. Not to assume it's impossible because you find it hard, but to recognize that if it's humanly possible, you can do it too. Men seek out retreats for themselves in the country like the seaside on the mountains. Nowhere can a man find a retreat more peaceful or more free from trouble than his own soul. Short-term thinking makes people desperate, ungenerous, impulsive. Long-term thinking makes people calm, gracious, controlled. What is the work of a master, said a solemn-faced visitor to teach people to laugh. Said the master gravely, understand what you can control and what you can't. Forget about the things you can't control and put that energy into the things you can control. Intelligence consists in ignoring things that are irrelevant. The wise man listens to meaning, the fool only gets the noise. Heroes are heroes because they are heroic in behavior, not because they won or lost. You can change it, you can accept it, or you can leave it. What is not a good option is to sit around wishing you could change it but not changing it, wishing you would leave it but not leaving it, and not accepting it. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient. But he that is so wants nothing until we have begun to go without them. We fail to realize how unnecessary many things are. We've been using them not because we needed them, but because we had them. We must take a higher view of all things and bear with them more easily. It better becomes a man to scoff at life than to lament over it. He who laughs at the human race deserves better of it than he who mourns for it, for the former leaves it some good hopes of improvement, while the latter stupidly weeps over what he has given up all hopes of mending. Peace, it does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of all those things and still be calm in your heart. If we can focus on making clear what parts of our day are within our control and what parts are not, we will not only be happier, we will have a distinct advantage over other people who fail to realize they are fighting an unwinnable battle. The world might call you a pessimist. Who cares? It's far better to seem like a downer than to be blindsided or caught off guard. No one is asking you to look at the world through rose-colored glasses. Take a deep breath, get present in the moment, and ask yourself what is important this very second. You cannot overestimate the unimportance of practically everything. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. Love looks not with the eyes but with the mind, and therefore his winged Cupid painted blind. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them. Doubt thou the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars but in ourselves. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. If music be the food of love, play on. Give me excess of it, that surfing the appetite may sicken and so die. We know what we are but not what we may be. And women merely players, they have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. Words are easy like the wind, faithful friends are hard to find. Don't waste your love on somebody who doesn't value it. Life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury signifying nothing. Never play with the feelings of others. because you may win the game, but the risk is that you will surely lose the person for a lifetime. Love me or hate me, both are in my favor. If you love me, I'll always be in your heart. If you hate me, I'll always be in your mind. I always feel happy, you know why? Because I don't expect anything from anyone. Expectations always hurt foreign. So love your life, be happy and keep smiling. Have more than you show, speak less than you know. Just live for yourself, and before you speak, listen. Before you write, think. Before you spend on. Before you pray, forgive. Before you hurt, feel. Before you hate, love. Before you quit, try. Before you die, live. To do a great right, do a little wrong. God has given you one face and you make yourself another. Always the wrong person gives you the right lesson in life. Young men love, then lie. Not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Time is very slow for those who wait. Very fast for those who are scared. Very long for those who celebrate. But for those who love, time is eternal. No legacy is so rich as honesty. A friend is one that knows you as you are. Understands where you have been, accepts what you have become, and still gently allows you to grow. Pleasure and action make the hours seem short. Men of few words are the best men. Anger is like a full hot horse who, being allowed his way, self-mettle tired. When a father gives to his son, both laugh. When a son gives to his father, both cry. Exempt themselves from fear. Talking isn't doing. It is a kind of good deed to say well. And yet words are not deeds. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. Like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. If we are true to ourselves, we cannot be false to anyone. Success is not reserved for a select few, it's a reward for those who dare to pursue their dreams relentlessly. Every day is a new chance to write your story, to create your legacy. What will your story be? The power to change your life lies within you. It begins with a decision, a belief in your potential. Be bold, be fearless. The biggest risks often lead to the most significant rewards. Failure is not the end, it's a lesson. It's a stepping stone to success. Your attitude is your compass. Choose positivity, and it will guide you through even the darkest of times. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.